So what is going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Generations Deluxe Class Trailbreaker / Cutter. Technically this one's called Trail Cutter, but we know who it's supposed to be, and it's supposed to be the IDW take on Trailbreaker, and yeah, he's pretty good. As far as Trailbreaker here goes, he's primarily black and gray with a bit of orange on him here and there. You can see it on the shoulders and on his knees. He comes with exactly one accessory. That one accessory being this shield gun, which has a handle like that. You can fold it away, and if you don't like the shield gun like that, well, you could store it on his arm like that instead, which looks a bit more stupid in my opinion. So come up to the top and put it up there, and you can have a very uneven shoulder. Or, better yet, you don't like it, store it on his back. Like that. Pretty simple to do. Not too hard, you know. And he gets a nice little backpack. On that though, if you want to hold it, flip out the handle from within. And there you go. Don't mind the hairs flying around. My cat's been in my room a lot lately, because I've not been here. But as far as just the looks of the figure goes, he just looks nice. But is he trail breakery enough? Well, he does have the hood chest, but different. And I kind of love how the chest works on this guy. That's the windshield, and that's like the hood of the car. And they're just merged together, and it's really cool. Also, I know someone saying it's not Trailbreaker if he doesn't have that pointing up. I like it down on this version, personally. Not a massive fan of it. I mean, rotating around, you can see he does have his little lines he usually has. They're there. They're on the back of his arms and a bit on his leg. That's really that. He does have light piping. It's not really showing. It's a rainy day. Sorry. Looking at that, you can see all the dust, but there's his head. Looks quite good. Looks quite nice. So, let's get into the articulation on him. The shield. So the articulation on Trailbreaker here is, you know, it's pretty good. He has a swivel in the head, forward and back, outward, an elbow, a swivel, a waist, forward and back, knee joint and swivel, and that's it. Average articulation. Now let's get to some issues with him. One of them is not kibble, because there's no kibble. There's legitimately nothing on this guy. It's crazy. One issue that I kind of have, though, is the arms. They don't peg in very well, and you're seeing that right here, right now. Well, they are in place and they won't move, but they do often, whenever you touch them, do that. Pull away from the body, and it looks a bit funny. I mean, yeah, it's just that's my one complaint about the robot one. So let's get into the transformation. So transform Trail Cutter. First thing you're going to do, come up to the head, rotate it around, and flip it down. Next, come to the hands, flip them in. After you do that, come to the feet, flip them up. A lot of flipping on this guy. A lot of it. Come to the torso, pull that up like that, and then pull out the Autobot logo. And then pull that into place like that, and that'll start to form the front of the car. Sort of heard that cough. And then you take the legs, push them in like that. And they will simply peg together like so. You're then going to take the arm, and that gray part I mentioned earlier is on a severed rotation. And you're gonna make sure everything gets lined up properly. I'm gonna unpeg the legs. Make sure, I don't think. The arm is probably the worst part of this whole transformation, if you want the truth. I know someone's gonna say, why is it the worst? It's because it's kind of tight to move. Move it like that, flip out the panel. Gotta try to get the shoulders into the exact right position. And not to mention, you cannot press on the hood because of that Autobot logo bit right there. If you press on that, it's gonna drop down, and the only way to get it out is to move the arms. Tragic. And then take this right here and take it in right there. There you go. There's Trail Cutter / Breaker in his alt mode, and yeah, it's pretty solid. Nice little solid little boxy truck thing. There's really no issues with it. You see the decal I mentioned on the back of his arm and legs. But other than that, it's primarily blacked out. A couple guns on the roof. No wheel paint. Headlights are painted. No back paint, though, either. And they never painted any windows on it. I mean, I guess this is a truck, so this is a, like, cover. Is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a cover. I don't know, this thing just looks like a nice little bulky truck, you'd think, but it's actually not that big. It's genuinely tiny comparatively to, like, other deluxes. Really compact, and the transformation is quite good to get there. I do like it. And also when you look on the other side, again, there's no kibble. Like, what? Why is this guy flawless in a lot of ways? It's just like looking at it, it's great. He even managed to keep these up here. Just looks good. As I said, it does roll kind of poorly because these are half wheels in the front. Sadly, womp womp. But hey, oh, and there's the issue I mentioned. I pushed it down, and that's out of place. So let's just get to my thoughts on this guy. My thoughts on Trailbreaker here is he's good. He's really good. This mold was really good at the time, and it's still good today because he's on my shelf for Trailbreaker because I never got the Earthrise one. So when it comes to Trailbreaker here, though, I just like this design of the figure a lot. It is nice. I mean, he does do pretty much everything you want him to do. As a figure, so there's not really any issues I take with it. He's fine enough. He's good enough as a guy for Trailbreaker. But is it the exact design I want? Not really. But is it a cool design? Yes. Yes, it is. It's an awesome design, and I do like it. So I am going to say that this guy, and I'm going to be generous, he's getting a 4.5 out of 5. And it's hard to say why he wouldn't get a 5, right? Not to mention Hoist is a figure. The Hoist of this version is a figure that I really love because it's one of those 5. It's the Big 5, which I've never really mentioned the Big 5, which is Goldfire, who's made a cameo, Soundwave, who I've reviewed, Hoist Thundercracker from Thrilling 30 area, and then Rhinox and Sandstorm, and I've reviewed Sandstorm. I've not reviewed Rhinox. Is that 5 or 6? I think that's 6. Yeah, it was 6, wasn't it? I'm an idiot. 6. The big 6, if you would. But yeah, as far as this guy goes, I think he's great. And I would recommend him if you ever see this mold, especially if it's Hoist or him, or there's a bunch of other ones. He's a great mold. He's a 4.5 out of 5. The reason he's not the most articulate guy, but that's fine. It's you know, arms, they're annoying in all modes. So this has been my review on Generations Trail Cutter. This has been Eilt Elite signing out.